Say goodbye to the quarterfinals. The age group closed out the second stage of competition in style, and we're bringing you the biggest numbers across 18 different divisions coming up on Inside the Leaderboard. Hello and welcome everyone. Tommy Marquez here with another edition of Inside the Leaderboard, recapping the age group quarterfinals presented by GoWOD, the official mobility partner of the Noble CrossFit Games. And one of my favorite writers, literary mastermind Mark Twain, once said, "Age is an issue of mind over matter." Well, age certainly mattered in this weekend's quarterfinals, but there were a ton of athletes that didn't mind, just absolutely beating the brakes off of these 5 tests and putting up some performances that were impressive at any age. Which leads me to my first number this week, 8,200. That's right, more than 8,200 total athletes registered for the age group quarterfinals this weekend. That was an increase from 2021, and the 35 to 39 age group was the biggest division by far. 1,020 women and 1,330 men signed up in that age range, accounting for more than 28% of total registrations in year 2. Outside of the 35 to 39, the next largest cohort was the 40 to 44-year-old men's division that saw 1,142 register. For perspective, in 2011, there were only 1,100 Masters athletes signed up for the Open, and those two divisions didn't even exist back then, so you can see the importance of adding the younger divisions to the growth of the age group divisions overall. But you know what? The youngins get plenty of shine. That's why we're going to zig when everyone zags, and our next number is 3. Thomas Ackerman of the men's 65 plus division did 3 muscle-ups at the end of test 2, making him the oldest athlete in the competition to successfully complete a muscle-up. And get this, 67 years old. Consider the other side of the coin, and an athlete like Nicolas Sanchez of Brazil, who's 13 years old currently and is in his first year competing in the 14 to 15 division. Nicolas completed 2 muscle-ups in event 2, and maybe it's just me, but being able to think globally and tell a young whippersnapper like Nicolas that not only is it possible that in 5 decades you could still be out here doing this thing, but you could still improve in some fashion and be able to point to an athlete like Thomas Ackerman, 54 years his elder, up on top of those muscle-up rings. That's truly an amazing piece of what the age groups bring to the table. Our final number this week is a big one, 835. That's 835 pounds, which is the CrossFit Total lifted by Olivia Kerstetter this past weekend. There was some hype around the 16-year-old Kerstetter potentially opting for the individual competition, and her CrossFit Total performance showcases why. She already has developed the strength with the barbell required of a games level individual. And if you look at the most competitive women's masters division, the 35 to 39 group, there's only 2 women out of the 30 that unofficially at this point are in a position to qualify for semifinals that had a CrossFit Total heavier than Olivia's. Oh, and with all her scores, she would have actually won that division overall by more than 40 points. So let's hit depth on that number, because Olivia's strength with the barbell has provided her a superb foundation for her future development in the sport. Olivia's total stacks up nicely across the years and the times the CrossFit Total has shown up at the games. In 2007, the first year, the top total by Nicole DeHart was 530. Then in 2018, Sarah Sigmundsdottir would have been 25 pounds shy of Kerstetter, but still good enough for a top 10 finish in the total that year. Carr Saunders tied for 8th in that event the same season and just 5 pounds ahead of Kerstetter. Then in 2020, the final 5 got another taste of the total, and Katrin Davidsdottir, Haley Adams, and even Carrie Pierce's total was still a far cry from Olivia's mark. And for perspective, Tia-Clair Toomey won the event with a massive 890 total, showcasing the room still left to grow for the youngster. And I have no doubt that we're going to be speaking about Olivia Kerstetter and her amazing performances in future seasons. But in the present season, I had a chance to catch up with Olivia earlier following the weekend's events. All right, and I'm joined now by Olivia Kerstetter. Olivia currently sits in first unofficially after the age group quarterfinals in the 16 to 17 division. Olivia, thanks for taking the time to chat today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know you just got done with school and it's been a long day so far, but coming off of the quarterfinal weekend,
I want to talk about your decision to go age groups. What was the decision-making process like, opting to go age groups and teenage divisions over maybe going individual?
Yeah, it was definitely a hard decision, and I had to weigh the pros and cons multiple times and talk with Jacob and my coach and training partners and my family about it, because I did not expect to do that well in individual quarterfinals. I kind of went into it just to have fun and see where I was at. Definitely made it a harder decision. After weighing the pros and cons, we just decided that it would be best to get more experience in the sport, and I don't want to go into something and risk it, especially that being my first big elite competition. I didn't want to risk not qualifying at all, so I played it safe.
And you're getting more experience right now. I just mentioned an amazing result in the quarterfinal round. One of the things that immediately stood out was the eye-popping total that you put up, one that would be competitive with even the top individuals as well. What was your approach to that workout? What were your initial goals, and did you have to adjust them at all?
Yeah, so obviously it was a little different than the individual quarterfinal total, and we only had 3 attempts. So I definitely had to play that into it and be smart with my jumps. And I would definitely consider some, all 3 of those lifts, my weakness lifts, my weaker lifts. So I was just trying to get PRs and at least hit high percentage if I couldn't. So I went into it just wanting to get a PR, and I PR'd all 3 of them. So I was pretty happy with that.
Oh man, I mean, you can't really ask for anything better, PRing all 3 lifts in succession. And again, a fantastic total. And you mentioned something earlier about, talking to Jacob a little bit. I know you get to train with Jacob quite a bit, and, he gets to, help you along in your path. What's it like, getting to train with someone who has been at the top of the sport as a high level individual, and B, can just kind of provide that daily guidance with you in your journey as you start to get off?
Yeah, it's a huge advantage just having his support and advice and everything. He always tells me good advice, and it's definitely a good support system to have. And he's a good training partner. He pushes me, makes me better, and makes it fun.
Olivia, I want to say thank you again for taking the time to join me on this chat, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Inside the Leaderboard, presented by GoWOD, the official mobility partner of the Noble CrossFit Games, designed for athletes with one goal: to perform your best. Download the app now and enjoy a 14-day free trial. Miles to Madison, Episode 3 premieres Thursday, April 28th. The first 2 episodes are already out now. You can check them out. Trust me, they are fantastic, and you can catch them on the CrossFit Games YouTube. Competition-wise, up next, we've got a little bit of a break, but after that break, we have the semifinal rounds. All 10 individual and team semifinals will be live, and of course, the age group and the adaptive divisions will have a virtual semifinal as well. So until then, enjoy the break, and we'll see you on the leaderboard.